Welcome to Project 54. We're in the first week of the project, and this is Family Favorites Week. It was so hard for me to choose which family favorites to bring to you this week, but this one that I'm bringing to you is hands down family favorite, company favorite, guest favorite. I've served this little item over and over through our Christmas open houses and holiday time. It's good warm, it's good cold, it's good with a dipping sauce, it's good without a dipping sauce, it's good with mustard or apple butter, warmed apple butter. It's good for a picnic in the spring, in the summer. It's good for a pickup, go out the door for a fast breakfast or a fast lunch. This is one of the things that kept my catering business going for so many years, back when I had my own catering business. I think you're going to love sausage pinwheels. Today's episode is brought to us by my cookbook, From Katie's Kitchen, Volume 1. If you're interested in learning more about the cookbook, just check the link down below in the description box. It's all there. It'll link you to my website, and you can learn all about this cookbook, which has plenty of recipes, stories, menu suggestions, party ideas, even how to make the biggest donut bar party you've ever seen. Brought to us today from Katie's Kitchen Cookbook. Now let's get busy with our sausage pinwheels, a family favorite in our home. Welcome to Heritage House. This is my kitchen. This makes approximately 6 dozen pinwheels, but that's going to vary according to how thick you cut them. I personally like them thinner. Some people like them thicker. We'll look at that here in a minute. I'm just going to put all of this in my KitchenAid stand mixer. 4 cups of flour. Now, all-purpose flour is what it calls for, but I like to make things complicated more often than not. Actually, this is unbleached, all-purpose, sprouted, whole grain flour. So that's what this is. But to get I like to use a healthier flour for most things, and this is going to provide a heartier bread type pinwheel, a heartier pinwheel in your bread than a softer one. But if you just want to start out with regular unbleached all-purpose flour, that's fine. I never use bleach at all. If I go with the white flour, it's going to be with the unbleached all-purpose flour, which you can find in most stores. All right, a scant 1/4 cup of sugar. I use organic cane sugar. I'm just putting it all in here for now, and then I'm going to mix it up in my mixer with my liquids. 2 tablespoons of baking powder. A teaspoon of salt. I use Himalayan sea salt. And my baking powder is aluminum free. And I just point these things out just to show you that when you're shopping, you can look for certain things that are healthier than others. But if you can't find them, don't stress about it. You're going to be okay. A 1/4 cup of plain cornmeal. This can be yellow or white. This really makes a difference in the pinwheels. I do use the paddle attachment, the flat attachment. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and just get my dry ingredients in here. Go ahead and just give that a stir. Alrighty. Then I have 2/3 cup of oil of your choice. This happens to be vegetable oil, actually. Don't typically use that, but that's what I'm using today. You could use grapeseed oil, you could use an avocado. I don't think I'd recommend a coconut oil. You could try that. I don't believe I ever have. Also, 2/3 to 1 cup of milk. Now, I can't give you an exact measurement because it's really going to depend on what kind of flour you're using, basically, and Quite honestly, the humidity in the air, it's going to depend on a lot of things, but 2/3 to 1 cup, and I'll show you what you're going to want it to look like. So let's put our attachment on here, and we're going to turn it on and slowly add our liquid. Let's hone our hospitality skills. It's a great cook's secret to go ahead and have things in the freezer that you can pull out for guests. All the oil, and then we're going to start with the milk. The tip is, if you want to measure your oil and then measure your milk in the same container, you're dirtying less containers, fewer containers. Okay, this was a cup of milk, and it might take it all today because I'm using that sprouted flour. You want it to form a ball. You don't want it to crumble. Then if it crumbles now, it's going to crumble when it comes out of the oven. Alright, I have the dough here on an unfloured surface. I've never had it to stick. Now you see it's a good stiff dough. I will say that this time around I did add a couple more tablespoons of liquid because I'm using the flour that we talked about. You don't have to knead it. I'm just trying to get it into a position where I can take my dough cutter and cut it in half, roughly. Put half aside. This is one recipe, so one recipe makes the 2 pinwheel rolls, and I suppose you can half it. I never have. These freeze well. I just need to make a kind of a rectangle. I'm not going to tell you how big the rectangle should be, but I will tell you that the thickness needs to be between 1/4 inch and 1/2 inch. So you can kind of, for the first time, try it out and see what you think. I mean, that's about 1/4 inch. 1/2 inch is a little big for me. But it depends on if you want a thinner, crispier pinwheel or a thicker, kind of a little bit more like a biscuit maybe. Just have fun with it. You don't have to, it doesn't have to be perfect. One end does need to be longer than the other, or one side I should say. Now one tip is that I like to put a cloth underneath my board that I'm working on, whether it's wooden or corian or plastic or whatever, so it doesn't slide around. Another tip is I like to use these food service gloves for handling raw meat and easy cleanup. I especially did that when we were on the RV for 2 years because it was very well, easy cleanup. Water was sometimes at a premium. All right, I have this store-made sausage from my local IGA. It is just a fresh pork, mild Italian sausage. Use whatever sausage you want to use, y'all. You can even use, if you wanted to use just hamburger meat. I never have, but you definitely could. You could have a hamburger pinwheel. But this is 1 pound of Italian sausage. Now, I got this because it only has pork, salt, water, fennel, and black pepper. It does not have the preservatives and the nitrites and the nitrates and and even sugar. A lot of the sausage has sugar that you're going to find, so I didn't want that. And basically, you want to be careful because what I do is I kind of just mash the meat. I don't want to roll the meat on here because then you're going to mess up your dough. But you basically just want to evenly distribute this sausage around here, and I just kind of mash it and move it around until it's evenly distributed on the dough. The next thing is to roll it up. So you go to the long side first, or you start at the long side, and you roll it up tightly. And what that means is you don't just kind of loosely roll it. You roll it until it's so that it's touching itself. See, my dough looks a little more brown than yours will if you use just white flour. And I kind of, if I want to make it a little longer, which I do, just like that. And you have big long piece that now is ready to go in the refrigerator for a little bit for easy cutting. You could cut it at this point, but you're gonna get, it's gonna be mashy. It's gonna mush and mush together. So you want to refrigerate it at least minimum 30 minutes probably, I would say. You can leave it in the fridge for a day or so. You can freeze it just like the, wrap it up of course, wrap it up well, and you can freeze it and then pull it out when you want it and slice it when it's partially thawed and then bake it. So I don't use a lot of plastic wrap these days, so I was thankful to find a little bit in my kitchen. So I'm just gonna put this on plastic wrap, wrap it up, put it in the refrigerator, and then I'm gonna come over here and do the same with my second piece of dough. Okay, I have let this set in the refrigerator for about 20 to 30 minutes. That is ideally not long enough, but I want to go ahead and show you how to bake these. Go ahead and preheat your oven to 350, and you're going to slice these and bake them for 20 minutes. All right, let me show you 2 ways you can slice the pinwheels. The first way is, of course, with a serrated knife. If you're a new cook and may not know, serrated has the rough edges. Now, this is my favorite piece, the end piece. And you're just going to put them over here on parchment-lined paper. That's another tip I have for you. The parchment is awesome. I've never had anything to stick whatsoever anytime I've used parchment. All right, another way, another cook's secret is to use dental floss. Keep dental floss in your kitchen cabinet, kitchen drawer. Put it under here. This is used to cut a lot of things in the kitchen. And you just, like so, and you have your, get that piece of sausage off there. It doesn't mash it like it did when I sliced it with the knife. You see the difference? You can cut cinnamon rolls this way as well. Get another piece. My dental floss got greasy on me and it wasn't long enough to grasp. This one's sliced a little thicker, so you can actually slice it however you like. I personally like it thinner. I want to show you what happens if you decide to use something like this cutter here. It's going to just mash it, you see, and you don't want that. That is not what you want. We can try to redeem it, and it is just for the family, but you don't want that. All right, let's go back to our handy dandy dental floss. Now, I said at the beginning that this could make 6 dozen. That is, if you would make your rectangular... You have to wrap this around your fingers for it to grasp. If you'll make your rectangle pieces of dough a little bit bigger than what I made, and also cut them a little thinner than thicker. If you want to eat these with apple butter, go ahead and warm you some good homemade or locally made apple butter while these are in the oven, or get your mustard out, or you can make a mixture of ketchup, mustard, mayonnaise, equal parts. That's Mr. Patient's favorite thing to eat these with. Well, I have Mr. Patient here to test taste.
I like taste testing.
You can serve this, like I mentioned, with warm apple butter. You could do that. That's good in the winter. Mustard. My favorite is the end.
See, I don't like the ends. I like the full circles.
You like all the sausage in it. I like less sausage, so I like the ends.
I like sausage. And, in my opinion, they can taste different based on the sausage you use, obviously. Because like I know we used to use like a smoked sausage, and you could really taste that smoky sausage flavor.
And when you use the smoked sausage, it still comes out pink, not so brown. So don't be frightened of that. I actually did cook these closer to 30 minutes than 20. I'd like them a little bit more brown, but they're good.
Yeah, they are.
Thanks for watching. We'll see them tomorrow for the continuation, the final video for Family Favorites Week here on Project 54. Thanks for watching.